It is very much overcast this morning. I'm leaving the apartment on my way to work. Um, Yesterday afternoon, I don't know, I did talk about yesterday in the morning that I chose myself. And I, had a session with myself. Uh, but first, I went to 3 different stores looking for the cell phone that my brother says that he claimed he wanted. Okay? Didn't find him. My plan was to this morning just tell him. I don't know what I was going to plan on exactly telling him, but I did end up telling him. So I told him I went to 3 different stores. There was no cell phone that was there that he said he wanted. He tried to pull the whole like flip-flopping again with, well, what about this phone? What about that phone? Bargaining. I just told him, it's like, look, what I am going to do, because last night, like I said, I did have a session with myself. Sometimes you got to have that therapy session for yourself. And I came to the conclusion that, yeah, he is an adult. And at some point in time, I need my life back. And in order for that, for me to get my life back, I just got to lay, as they say, lay the cards out on the table, the ones I'm working with for him, because he wasn't even cognitively coherent enough to know, and then just let him do it. If he claims he wants these things, then he has to do the work for them. It only makes sense. In order for you to get them, you've got to earn them, as in you got to do the footwork. So I'm not going to try to get him an apartment for him to be independent and then he falls apart, right? Again. But he can still be independent at this apartment with supports, right? So this morning, like I said, I came over. I told him I went to 3 different stores. He tried to pull the whole like, well, you can get this and that and whatever. And then as I'm like, he did take his own medicine. Okay. Yesterday he did not. And that kind of made me upset. I was just kind of like, what are you doing? But anyway, so this morning he did take his medicine by himself. And I was a little bit more put at ease, I guess. But he was still, I don't know, talking about cell phone situation and then handing me a shopping list, which is not a problem per se. But then he put on the shopping list that he wants a cell phone. Luckily, I went through into the bathroom where he wrote another note that said, no cell phone, please. Meanwhile, I'm basically telling him, and I'm recording it too, because this is what seems to help sometimes, is recording the conversation of him saying he does not want something, so that then later in the day, when he says he does want it, I could play it back for him and tell him, like, I don't know how to help you if you change your mind every other moment of the day, right? And I was recording the conversation. It seemed like he had a little bit, I don't want to say a meltdown, but a little breakthrough, because basically he was saying, and I don't even know if the recording picked it up, is that he doesn't want to be in the hospital anymore. And I'm like, good, because I don't want you to be in the hospital anymore. So you have to build yourself back up. You've got to keep up a routine. You've got to keep up doing the things that keep you healthy. Otherwise you will end up back in the hospital. And I want him to be safe. And I told him that, all those things. And he's like, yeah. So whenever and then I tried to give him a little bit of brain science about what happened to him mental illness wise, is that it's electric glitch that, just made him not want to do certain things. And so the medicine is helping him refocus. You know what I mean? As I was writing down what I was going to do for him, because I was like, you know what, you're right. Let him make him do all this work. I wrote out the note saying that I'm going to order a cell phone. I'm going to give you the names and addresses of the people you need to talk to. This is your budget. Good luck to you, my guy, you know. But he said, no, I want to stay here at this apartment. And I was like, okay, well, that means it's on recording that you want to stay here, but you've got to do what you got to do to stay healthy. And I keep telling him the only thing, seriously, he has to do is to keep taking his medicine. That is not that difficult. Just take your medicine. Okay. All right. I don't know. I'm trying to be hopeful about this too, but we've had this kind of conversation before. But at the same time, he hasn't had his shot. He's working in his system a little bit more now. It's almost been 1 week, and I'm glad I do my homework. See, as a teacher, you got to be ready and stuff, because the doctor never said anything about him having to continue to take the tablets, right? But I looked it up myself. So he does have to continue to take the tablets for at least 2 weeks for it to build up into his system, right? And so that's what I've been making sure that he does. That's a part of, it's not just the shot and now he's like all better or whatever. It's like he's got to build it up in his system. So working on that. It's only been almost 1 week. In 2 more days, it'll be 1 week. And then 1 more week, I'm seeing, better and better results. It's my hope that this is it. This is the thing. He is smart. I've also noticed that he has a love language. I mean, we all do, right? His love language is words of affirmation. The thing that destroyed him is like hearing all the negative and the criticism is the thing that's going to build him up too. So words of affirmation work for him. So I got to keep on keeping on with that. Words of affirmation. What else? So what I was doing also this weekend, or at least partly yesterday, Sunday, getting ready for the week, was checking on the status of the medication. Speaking of, it was like, because he had a psychologist at the hospital that prescribed the shot, and I put it in another video because he